Okay, here we are, the final. Showcase of Tales of Luminaria. This game was recently announced to be getting canceled, and late last night they posted the final story episode for it. It's not the final, but it's the one we're being left off with. We're never gonna actually see what the true ending is, which is a real shame. But anyway, I really like I really like this game as a longtime fan of the Tales of franchise. I think it's a very welcome addition, very excellent writing and all that. And even compared to something like Crestoria, which was recently canceled, this game has very little archived about itself. There's very little information anyone has left of this game. So my attempt with today's stream is I'm not gonna do a long play series of the entire story, although that would have been ideal. I would have done that if I did that earlier, maybe a month or two ago, if I knew this was happening. But I decided that for today's final stream of this game, what we will be doing is playing through the final episode, and this is my first time playing through this episode. This will be my raw reaction to it. I'll give my thoughts on that, and then we'll give a final brief overview of every character in the game, and then show off their gameplay and stuff, and that'll help me afterwards, because after we're done with everything, we're gonna make some tier lists for the game. We're gonna do how good, how fun the character is, how good they are in raids, and and fashion. We're gonna do an outfit tier list, and that'll be the big finale. So look forward to that. Uh, so, I just want to test some audio real quick to see how this game sounds. Test some audio real quick to see how this game sounds. Oh wait. Alright, let's turn it up and see how the music. The capture device for my phone doesn't have the highest audio quality I noticed last time I streamed this game, so I just want to make sure it's not too obnoxious, and maybe I might have to start some background music or something. Okay, so first, as a big final hurrah, they added this new raid event and everything. There's no audio being picked up at all from this game? I don't think so. Oh, that's a shame. The voice acting's really good. Maybe if I turn it up a little. Oh yeah, maybe it's just quiet. There we go. Turn down low so it doesn't drown me out. And that sounds about right. Let's click a few things. Okay, yep, that sounds good. Alright. Alright, so I'm not going to be playing any background music for this stream. Anyway, getting back to the actual subject. So we've known for a while that the game was being shut down, and they told us that we get this final episode as compensation. And while they're not able to actually give closure to everyone's the overall story of the game, we will. They are finally giving us the one big cliffhanger, or not even cliffhanger, but one plot element that's been crucial to the entire game, which is why this character Hugo, you see here on the episode final thumbnail, why he left the Federation faction and joined the Empire faction, because that sort of conflict's sort of at the middle of everything that goes on in this game. This game is all about each of the 21 characters and their personal stories, and like it jumps all through these number of years, like backstories. Like there isn't really a present time per se, unless you count like the adventure story. They're the only story that happens in sort of a linear fashion, so you can consider them the present day story, while the Federation and Empire storylines jump through time to give us context of different events. Anyway, the question of why Hugo left has always been intentionally dodged, and it was always supposed to be saved as like this big reveal, and now they're finally letting us have that reveal. And along with that event, we got the new raid event, which is I'm pretty sure it shuffles through like any of the previous raid bosses plus the one we hadn't seen yet. So might try that out. Might do one or two of those here at the end. But the big thing is they did these big final summon banners where it's everyone's episode 2 outfits or equipment, rather everyone who got one, because as of the time it was canceled, I believe, let's go through real quick. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You had 8 characters who hadn't yet gotten their episode 2, but only 4 of them are being given what their eventual episode 2 outfit was going to be. As sort of like, which tells me that their episodes were either planned or more or less finished, but regardless, so they're not releasing them. So even though Liddy and Vanessa did not get their episode 2 yet, they still released the equipment that would have come with it. And then we got everyone else's who was already released, like Leo's, Celia's, Lizette, Michelle. And then you have a character like Lucien, who didn't get an episode 2, and also isn't getting what his outfit would have been, which also tells me that he was probably going to be one of the last characters, like the final Federation character to get his story, like he was with the episode 1 cycle, where he was the last one to get his episode. Looks like it was going to do that again. Same for Bastion in the Place of the Empire. They were going to be the last couple of the Empire units to get an episode. Looks like, because they only have their episode 1 outfit still. But then Gaspard, he was probably going to be the next. If I were to make a guess, he was going to be the next character to get an episode after the last Hugo chapter. Because coincidentally enough, Hugo's episode 2 was also the last episode we got before the game's cancellation was announced. Now this one's the most interesting, and I really like the character Amelie. Presumably her episode 2 was going to take place as part of her backstory. You were actually going to play as her as a child, and you can see here this little brief snippet of her mystic art that her and Falk, or rather as he was called as a child, Claude, do a little team combo account. I think that's really cute. And I have more to talk about this character later specifically, so we'll do that. But yeah, Charles also, he looks like he was going to be the final adventurer this time around instead of Liddy to get an episode. But because of that, they didn't make his outfit or equipment yet. So just quickly, I want to look, just to showcase, like, my presumptions don't have too much aren't like, actually have some basis. We look at her chronology, which is supposed to, but most characters, once you get past the year like 1000, they all play out, they say like mostly the same information, like August surviving an assassination attempt and announcing the invasion or whatnot. It usually says the same. It's mostly the early years of each character that is unique, because that's before they all meet each other, obviously. And you can see that Amelie was supposed to have an episode in the year 989, which we obviously, you can, because we first meet her in 999, we know that she would have been a whole 10 years younger. So yeah, that's her. We would have been playing this episode exclusively as her as a child, which I will show later. Also has its own unique moveset, the child version of Amelie, which I think is very interesting. It basically counts as his own character. Alright, so this, oh yeah, they also give you one of everyone's favorite dish if you hadn't unlocked it yet. You have Charles's favorite dish, my lady's cooking, the lady's favorite dish, the candy, and all these others that you may or may not have gotten depending on how many of each character's favorite dishes you had cooked before. Anyway, we're gonna start off with the episode finale, and then I'm gonna go, and then we're gonna go through the level up camp one more time with every character, just to reanalyze their gameplay, talk about like in theory how they were supposed to be played and whatnot, and then we can recontextualize that for the TOs we make afterward. So hopefully the internet just isn't too garbage, and we can start this next episode. Alright. Now this is all mainly for posterity's sake. This entire stream, like this game doesn't even have a wiki. Like I tried looking several things up because I don't own every outfit or weapon in the game, so I was hoping there was like a gallery or something online I could look at, so that we could do like rating everyone's outfits at the end, like really like much easier. But there isn't, so we're gonna have to. So when we go through and rate everyone's outfit, might not be able to see everyone's in in like as much detail as possible. I do believe I have at least an image of everyone's outfits, and because I don't own them all, obviously, because it's a gacha game. So, but we should still have plenty enough to like rate off of. Like these new little mystic art snippets are really helpful for that, because they show old and new outfits that we can analyze if I don't own them. I do own most outfits, but for a gacha game that's like 70%, so whatever. Alright. Now, let's start the final episode. We will finally learn Hugo and why he made his decision. I've already had theories just in the context clues they've dropped. Obviously, the Federation is gonna like have wronged him in some way, and or he's gonna discover like the conspiracy. Because as the stories have been unfolding, it's just been looking like that both the Federation and Empire are like just as corrupt and evil as each other, and neither side is good, which is like obviously the idea behind having this narrative with so many different perspectives, and I think is a good use of that, and they're doing a good job at showing that. Honestly, even though they were initially introduced as the villain, because Leo's episode was the first one you played and he's on the Federation, the Empire has actually been, in my experience with the game, easier to sympathize with than the Federation. Even though August's methods are very like evil, like he kills a lot of innocent people, his like motivations and like the ends seem to be a lot more justifiable than anything the Federation's been doing. Even though we have almost no idea of what the Federation's true intentions have been up to this point. We've just had like some shady interactions with like some top brass type characters from different perspectives. Now my only question with this episode was this episode originally intended to be the next Crossroads episode, which would have been released after everyone else's episode 2 came out, and then they just made it the episode finale? Or they made this as soon as they heard they were gonna be canceled.
Huh? What was that?
Something's not right.
Well, from the looks of it, this looks like this is gonna be the day their village was attacked, and they believe it was the Empire who destroyed it.
I don't know what's happening. You have to get out of here.
Hey, come on! Wake up, Hugo! It's okay. Just wait here. I'll do whatever it
I mean, this
takes
could
to
be
save
something
you,
different, I
Hugo.
don't know. Oh, I should not let this opening play. That music is copyright. Regrettably, no matter how cool that opening is, I should probably not let that play. If you want to look it up yourself, it's called Tomoshi Beat by Frederick. It's a really good song. Okay, starting off as Celia. I thought I'd be starting off as Leo from that introduction, but whatever.
So,
Alright, if this is anything like the last Crossroads episode, we're going to be playing as
they want
a
us to
lot of
protect the
characters
vicar
throughout the scenario.
while she presides over the memorial ceremony here. Guess that means moving up in the world, huh?
That's not it. They want to turn us into a spectacle. The brave survivors of the tragedy, they'll call us.
That's...
Hey, guys. What are you looking so glum
Oh,
about?
this is kind of fucked up
Celia?
already.
Who cares why we got this mission? It's still our duty to carry it out, right? Let's work hard and show them what we Blaze cadets can do.
yeah.
You're right. Sorry, Celia.
We'd be useless without you, Celia.
You especially, Leo.
What? So would you?
Damn, get
Leo.
fucked up.
You go. Keep at it. I'll do my best too. Okay, we have some time before the ceremony starts. Let's look around and figure out which spots we'll need to watch.
I mean, we already know all
Nice
the
one.
best hiding places, but...
Nice
sure.
refresher that the
Let's check out the village square to the right first.
game has like these
Alright.
exploration sections and how walking around the environments goes. Funny thing about that little blue arrow around my feet, it's supposed to like tell you where treasure chests or these PB fragments are, like basically just collectibles. Originally when the game first came out, to have that sort of passive ability to like detect treasure, like you had to have a specific weapon equipped in your art slot, but they quickly realized that people didn't like just being down in art basically just so they could find where the treasure was, so they just made it a basic function of the game that everyone by default just has the treasure detection on. And so the weapons that had those skills had them replaced with other things such as
Yeah.
like
Those are
a
the
short
happiest
auto
memories I have.
heal or a strength increase or
Come
something.
on. You're exaggerating, right?
No. Playing with you two meant everything to me.
Oh, right. Your parents were pretty tough on you, weren't they, Hugo?
Yeah. My family was as respectable as they come, but they weren't exactly the warmest, and they were far from permissive.
I get why they were strict. Three of us were up to some really stupid stuff.
Ain't that the truth? It's like the second we got together, every smart thought we had between us ran away.
True. Those were some really good times. Let's move on.
Okay, how about we move to where the candy shop was?
Up to you, Celia.
Find it weird they even bothered to include PB fragments in this episode to begin with, since all they do is get you summon materials, and with the game ending, we don't got much use for those.
place
I
is
guess if you
full
just
of
wanted to
memories, too.
try your best to get
Locals
all the
loved it
final
here. It
outfits.
was always so lively.
By the way, is anyone else coming today?
Lots of people are attending the ceremony.
See, when
Huh. So
Chris'
it's not
story
just us,
ended,
then.
I
I didn't realize
did do
that
my
many
best to
people
like
care
break
about
all my
Lasant.
previous damage records and stuff,
Well, I think it has more to do with the
but
vicar.
I've never
being
been the
here.
type who's like, oh, I have to
People
have
don't
every
usually get the
character. I
chance to see
usually
her up
I'm
close.
pretty picky with summons.
Ah,
Like,
I
I only
see.
want to strengthen specific
That's
characters.
also why Instructor Lisette is coming, along with the detachment of soldiers.
In this game, I usually
They should
put
be
all
here
my
soon.
summons into the adventure
Instructor Lisa?
characters more than anyone, unless
Will it really
one of
be
the
safer
weapon
with
skills
her
for the
here?
others was amazing, or I
Here you
didn't
go.
already have a mystic art.
Ah, sorry. Don't mind me.
Like, by the time
Okay.
episode 2 started rolling out,
Where to
I
now?
summoned for characters that I
Should we
didn't
take a
already
look at
have
where
a
we used
mystic
to
art
live?
form, because just
Alright.
not having a powerful mystic art was made it hard to do some of the challenges. And those challenges would get you more summon materials, so. But because I mean Edward, I would always put all resources into making him specifically as strong as possible, so that I could get one hyper strong character to do every raid with. Which is similar to like how I used to play Dragalia Lost, but now that game's ending. Like, just to hop into a raid and like help people out, all that mattered was the strength of my strongest character, not my overall strength of every character added up.
This is the place where Leo's house was, right?
Yeah. You were such a baby in those days, Leo.
Yeah, totally. You'd always cry when Adele scolded you. But on days like that, she'd always win you back over. By filling your house with the delicious smell of curry.
Your grandma was amazing. She knew how to be strict yet kind.
Yeah, she really understood what it meant to be noble.
Grandma. I'll never forgive those Imperial bastards who stripped you of your nobility.
Leo. So, where to now?
There's one thing you gotta know
How about
about
we head
Leo
toward
is
the
that
water?
nobility is
Sounds
everything to him, because that's what his grandma always raised him to think about. And then when she died, he didn't think much of it when he was a kid, but when she died, he really started living that noble lifestyle, and every one of his actions he justified with, like, whether it was a vague or specific sense of nobility, which he, throughout his episodes, he learned to, like, truly define what
okay?
nobility was.
Yeah, I'm fine. This old memory surfaced the instant I laid eyes on this place.
This place?
I don't think anything memorable happened here.
Not from when we lived in Lasant. I came back by myself after everything was destroyed.
Oh yeah. You ran away on your own once, didn't you?
I remember. Everyone was really worried about you.
Yeah. That's right. That Black Knight taught me how to use a sword here.
What Black Knight?
A sword?
Excuse me?
But then that red-haired woman did something to me and...
Leo!
Bruh.
Damn. It's no good. I get a splitting headache when I try to remember.
These are some big fucking reveals.
You alright?
They really are trying to
Yeah.
wrap up every loose end.
I think I should let it go for now. I'll test my memory again once this high-profile mission's over.
Sounds like a plan. Shall we head out?
Yeah.
A Black Knight and a red-haired woman, huh?
Where else should we go?
Alright, so what I get
Maybe
from
we
that
take a look at the site of the
conversation
ceremony.
is
It's
apparently
being
at
held
some
at the back of
point
the village.
after their village was
Alright,
destroyed,
let's
Leo
go take a
came
look.
back, and Bastion from the Empire taught him how to actually use a sword, or specifically a katana, and Laplace from the Empire gave him some sort of powers. So from what we know about Laplace, who's easily the most mysterious character in the game, she is like some sort of like demon or otherworldly being, or someone just who's able to grant other people power. She's the one who gave Bastion, the Black Wolf of the Empire, his like unmatched power, which makes him like a one-man army. And then Leo saying that he learned how to fight from a man with a black sword, like that goes back to Hugo's episode 2, which happens after this, where Hugo is fighting alongside Bastion and they talk, and Hugo talks about how Bastion's sword fighting style is very similar to Leo's. So now we know there's an actual reason for that. Leo was actually trained by Bastion at one point. And the power that Laplace gives him explains what happens in the Luminaria anime, where Leo was able to break August's barrier, even though August himself is another person who is given power by Laplace, and his barrier was supposed to be unbreakable.
What's this?
I'd heard they put up a memorial to the victims, but
It looks a bit like you, Yuko.
it does.
The thought behind it's good and all, but how to put this? It's kind of, you know.
Yeah, but don't worry about me. I'm fine. You're a good friend, Leo.
Hugo.
That's that. I think we've done a pretty thorough inspection.
And they really...
Yeah, we'll be fine no matter
Why
what
did they
direction
send
the
these
attackers come
three to
from.
do this?
I, for one,
They're just
hope they
digging
don't
up
come
trauma
at
on
all.
purpose.
It's still bothering me, though.
What is?
I don't get why they hired students to provide security.
It's
Is
because
it-
we're from Lasant, isn't it?
I'm not
The
so
Empire
sure.
and Federation may or may not
Would they really put
actually
the
be
Vicar in
being run
danger
by
like
like
this?
one person,
Just for the sake of putting us on
or at least have
display?
several people who are working in
Well,
both.
Push comes to shove, the instructor will be here to back us up.
So like
Right.
them
Instructor Lisa.
purposefully luring Hugo to the other side,
Sorry,
like in
I'm
the
late.
first Crossroads episode, where
Instructor.
August's conversations with Hugo really like struck a chord with him, and like were something he could relate to, and like he saw that August wanted the same things he did. And then August at the end of the episode says that, oh,
The ceremony
Hugo will be the future
You three
alpha
stay
for the
here and
Empire,
keep surveilling the
which if you
area.
look at the chronology of
Understood.
Hugo, he does
But
eventually
are you
get
sure we're the best for the job?
the Jade Alpha, like the
Vicar
Jade Wolf
requested you
status.
herself. It's not our place to question her. That said, I wouldn't worry too much. You three are already far more useful than the average Stigmata Knight.
Instructor.
Well, it's time I took my post at the entrance. I'll leave you to it.
Yes, ma'am.
The Zet being here is also going to be really big, because in Hugo episode 2 we learned that she did something that Hugo really didn't like, and he wanted to kill her on Site 4. So we're about to find out what that is.
She will now grace us with her words of wisdom.
First,
Alright, this is the first time we actually see this character in like person.
we ask
This
that the mana of those
like super
who
evil
were
bitch,
lost in
whoever
the
she is.
tragedy of Lasant Village find peace in eternal slumber beside the primordial beasts. 9 years ago today, in the 990th year of our Creator, a horror too great for words befell this village. That day, the Empire slaughtered
Yep, it was totally the
honest
Empire.
civilians without warning. There is no excuse for such a vile sin. Not
The Empire
even
destroyed their own village in
war.
August's episode, and it's most likely the Federation destroyed their own village in this episode.
and is
unforgivable. Made worse by the fact that to this day, the Empire refuses to admit any involvement.
I wonder why this
Oh,
is the one thing
what the
they
heck?
won't take
I
responsibility
wonder why they
for.
don't admit involvement.
You mean the one thing? The Empire's always lied. They're monsters. They're the reason Grandma was.
Leo,
Are you sure about that?
Hugo?
Just hear me out, alright? I finally made sense of some past events.
It's gotten into you all of a sudden.
Leo, Celia, the truth is...
Now! Attack!
What's going on?
Oh wow, they killed all those people really fast.
I thought they did thorough background checks.
They clearly weren't that thorough. Anyway, this is our cue to protect the Vicar.
The Vicar.
Take that, Hugo!
Ah,
Wow, the Vicar really
right now
wanted these
that's
three dead.
our priority.
Oh yeah! Let's do this!
It's just- I've mentioned this before, but chances are no one ever watched my previous stream of this game. Celia is the long-range sniper of this game, and her whole game plan is about getting these like perfect shots to shoot like these homing, piercing arrows that do a lot of damage.
Real soldiers?
It's very hard. It's very like
Yeah, I doubt these
hard.
guys
I
have
wouldn't.
any
I mean, not
combat
exactly
skills.
hard, but
Bet their federal civilians are being manipulated somehow.
but it's very annoying to try to do on your own,
Real bastards
like
are as
without
underhanded
like
as ever.
other players backing you
I
up.
wonder...
So it doesn't seem like she's very strong. But in a raid, she actually is probably going to be dealing the most damage on the team, as long as she isn't interrupted a lot.
Why in the world is this happening?
Not sure. These people don't seem to
And
be in
then
the
these
right
supplementary arcs that are on some of the 5-star bows are really good because they're AoE.
Do what we can to stop them without killing them.
Got that right. Let's do this nobly!
Me, it is. Leo sound a little different in this episode. I guess he's just supposed to be angry the whole time, but or maybe Aaron Dismo
Are you alright?
had a bad day. I don't know.
Please accept my apologies. We weren't able to.
Apologies are unnecessary. These events were not unexpected.
Not unexpected?
That's what I said.
Then you acted as bait, Your Holiness?
What a
What
bitch!
do you mean?
Her Holiness is protected by the Great Creator. Even in the chaos of battle, it's almost impossible to harm her. No ordinary foot soldier would be able to do it, and that means...
If the Empire really wants to kill her here, they'll send the Alphas.
It is as you have surmised. And yet... I had not imagined that the Alpha of the Alphas would come. Imperial Chancellor August Wallenstein.
What?
Where
It's
Eddie
an
would
honor,
knows the entire file that came to August. He probably knows that
I was humbled by your invitation.
you control the Empire as well,
Strange.
probably,
I don't recall sending you one.
and had something to
need to be
do
so
with
modest.
killing his family.
My arrival here was part of your plan, was it not?
My plan? Certainly not. It is the Creator's plan.
Okay, so
and
she's one of those
gift
nuts.
To us all.
He tries to say that her plan was God's plan, and
I feel
write
quite
everything
the
off
same
and not
about
make it
you.
about her.
Naturally. Now then, let us fulfill our duties. For the Shieldlawn Empire.
Now it's the three people who became friends in the Crossroads episode 1 are now fighting in Crossroads
We're
episode
much
2.
obliged to you for Habakiri.
Yeah, then
For old
he's mentioning
time's sake,
Hibakiri.
would you not join us? I can guarantee that the Imperial Army will treat you well.
As if anyone would join the Empire by choice.
This village was our home once. It
I
was
messed
there,
up.
but you Imperials destroyed it.
Poor little...
Over-
The Empire destroyed it, you say?
This'll decide things.
No, not pretty unforgivable, isn't it?
They're sure like, no, we didn't destroy it.
Believe me when I say that I feel your pain. August?
And August knows that,
This day would come eventually.
like, no, your own
Here is
country
an
will
Imperial
destroy your
soldier.
village because
Understand? You need to come at me with everything you have.
You got it!
Must you
and
actively
August
encourage
or
the enemy,
Leo really
Alexander?
liked Alexandra, so
Is this your best?
such a shame that they have to fight. They had good chemistry, which is what that Crossroads episode was supposed to teach you. That, like, in a different world, these people all could have been friends.
Come. Is this your best?
I say, with people taking aggro for you, playing Celia is really effective.
You've improved, Leo.
You say that, but you've barely broken a sweat.
No. It's as Alexandra says. It bodes ill for us that you cadets stalled us this long. Since the real threat looms behind you, ready and
So
waiting.
I don't know why Leo doesn't recognize the
You
flaws.
honor me, but you exaggerate. I'm really just a symbol.
In Michelle,
at most.
I think it was Michelle
I'm a
episode
vessel.
2. He might have.
The vessel
They
through
fight
which
her
our
and he
Creator's will is
mentions that he
made
might
known.
recognize her.
Are you, though?
Speak your mind.
If you insist. It's just that I've always suspected that you so-called oracles are actually charlatans.
That's sacrilege! Who the hell do you think you are?
You've gone a step too far. Since you insist on trying to sow doubt in my
Oh
flock,
my god, what a fucking
I'll offer
nutcase.
everyone
It's
here
such a shame that
proof of what
the
our
Federation
Creator
people
can
believe
achieve
her.
through his children. Leo Fokai, Hugo Simon, I grant you Origin's
Oh, Origin,
blessing.
of course. Can't be a Tales game without Origin. Now, what fucked up consequences is this gonna have? I think these are the particle effects from the anime. The red and blue together.
So the power I saw.
Oh no, it was from the Heba theory.
Truly was.
Leo, Hugo!
Don't worry, Celia. Looks like I've been granted a pretty awesome power.
The blue's the embryo and the
What else
red.
did you expect from
It's
the
supposed to
Vicar's
be
blessing?
like a similar to what a reactor produces. It just further shows that
My
both are
shining
the same. Or just two
Go
sides of the same
forth
coin.
and vanquish our
And how can you not see this bitch is evil?
Let's
Oh my
do this,
god,
you
these
guys!
poor fucks.
Yeah,
I
sounds
Oh,
good. Primordials be with us!
really wish this story would have finished up because everyone would have probably eventually ended up on the same side
Feel the
because,
power of
and
the
or tragically
Federation.
died.
And of the Vicar's
This just makes
blessing!
me further think the Empire's the good guys, even though August is himself is a little bit of a dick.
Can this kind of power really be obtained at no cost?
Kills a little bit too many innocent people for my taste, but in the end August is definitely the one who's mostly in the right.
It's amazing.
Indeed, it is.
And Hugo's the only one who figures it out.
You're
Such a
able
shame.
to keep up with them easily. That indicates a great
Then I
deal
guess
of
obviously the
talent.
adventurers are also going to uncover the
Be
conspiracy.
proud of your own power, Celia Arvier.
I will. Thank you very much,
See.
Your Holiness.
The adventurer story is about like investigating each of the beasts one at a time because as already discovered that each of them is dying and the world is about to end. So as they discover that, they probably figure out the conspiracies of the two countries has something to do with it. Specifically, probably something about this, which is the reason all the beasts are dying.
Watch over me, my Embleo.
A lot of people blame it on the Empire's reactors, but it's probably this bitch who's abusing them more than anyone.
Take this time to reflect.
Need to get it together.
I say, Tales games and JRPGs in general have always tried to frame religion as the bad guy. So it's not like that much of a stretch, or like even that much of like a twist. It's pretty obvious that like from the beginning of the game that like there's something wrong with the Federation, but
You're not getting away.
And I have to play as the only character here without an install. I mean, I have my own install later, but...
The power of my time.
Oh, she just gets to use her Mystic Eye. Cool.
This fight won't take long.
Oh my god, one more shot. Come on. There we
Keep
go.
your guard up.
Probably switch to another character after this, cause
So it's come to this.
We did it! We did it, Your Holiness!
it's kind of
beat the
weird they were
Chancellor
able to
and the
beat them
Alphas.
like that.
Excellent work.
Yes! Now we can capture them and...
Deal the finishing blow.
What?
You heard me. Behead the enemy leaders.
I mean, to be fair, they are soldiers. They kind of should at least
More used to the Federation
want
as
a little
prisoners.
bit, but
There's
nah,
no need
they're
to
right
kill
about
them.
the prisoner thing.
That is enough, Hugo Simon. Ending a life on the battlefield is an act of mercy.
Nah, Hugo's about to fucking...
Mercy? No, you're wrong.
This one has yet to mature, it seems.
The Federation's literally trying to just brainwash everyone. Thinking they're...
Kill them. Leo Fogo.
Oh, yep, she literally can just control him. How has no one mentioned this in any of the future episodes?
Yes.
Leo? Hold on.
Like, it's understandable if maybe Leo loses his memory from this, because he's been corrupted by this, but Cilia shouldn't forget this,
Slight miscalculation.
and even if no one will listen to Hugo's side of the story,
I must say, Leo, this may come off as a parting jab from a sore loser, but there's not a scrap of nobility about you.
oh, I love that, awesome, please, amazing, August, do it,
Cut this man down.
get that character development out of him.
Leo!
Here's what I think. You're just really soft-hearted.
Oh no, anti-character
Tell you the
development
truth.
powers from the villain.
I like you exactly how you are, Leo.
Good Hugo. Hugo is the hero we all needed in the end. Even though he's
Stop it, Leo! Don't kill him!
like not fun to play as at all. Hugo's definitely one of my least favorite characters to play as.
Hugo. Why are you protecting these Imperials?
You're wrong. The one I'm protecting.
This reaction.
Alright, so if this episode's telling me anything, is that the Empire and Federation side of the stories actually are significant. Because for a while though, it felt like only the adventurers really mattered, and the Federation and Empire were just for context.
What was this? What have I walked in on?
No!
Right.
You're coming with us, Hugo. What?
Hugo, hold on!
So that's it then.
Bruh, how can Celia and Mazette just let this happen and never mention this again in the future? Like, obviously Leo lost consciousness so he doesn't fully grasp what was going on, but everyone else was watching. "31 parts in one chapter. Damn. Show my fucking phone battery lasted
Hugo's
this whole
son.
episode. It'd be a real shame
I can't stop
to have to
thinking
stop
about
the
it.
stream.
The
Which I
hometown
probably will,
listed
though.
on
This
his
game takes a lot
records
of
is Triad
battery.
Village, but I just know that isn't right.
I'll have to rename this stream
Maybe
to
I
like
should
part
ask
1
the
or
higher
something.
ups about looking into it. No, that'd just be kicking the hornet's nest. I mean, I could handle it, but I don't want to put those three at risk. And though I wish it wasn't the case, I'll probably have to ask him for help. Word is he was at the academy today, so I might as well look for
Oh,
him.
okay. Well, that's an interesting character. Well, she's probably talking about Gasper.
Excuse me, have you
Gasper
seen
and her have a history.
I'm not really.
If you don't know who he is,
The most we know about Gasper
You know,
is he works for both countries.
From what I hear, besides that,
yes, that definitely sounds like.
In Lizette's last chapter, episode 2, she seems to have some sort of like really direct connection with him, and like she actually like really cares about him, despite the fact she always says she doesn't. Or like the backstories are like connected somehow. Like she could recognize him through the gunshot wounds he dealt on a monster.
Greetings, Lisette. Is something the matter?
No, it's nothing.
Are you sure? You seem rather troubled.
I'm just a little concerned about a student of mine, that's all.
I understand. It's natural to worry about the people around us. Whatever their issue is, I hope you can help them resolve it.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll
That's
surely
it.
try.
Lizette as a character, like in all her scenarios, you just constantly see her and the people around her getting purposely screwed over by the top brass of the Federation. Like they're just purposely sending her on shitty missions and stuff.
I'm looking for
Kind of
Gaspard.
hoping she'll die, but she's always like too strong to like
who said all that weird stuff at the
not.
induction ceremony?
Yes, he did make a few
And, like,
unfortunate attempts at
she
humor.
just like perseveres anyway,
Yeah.
even though
I
she
saw
really
him
doesn't want
outside
to,
not long
because
ago.
Okay, thanks.
at least in her episode 2 it seems to be there's like the one shady guy in the Federation, I forget his name, but he appeared in her episode and Gasper's episode.
Never
But threatening
fails, always
Gaspard,
around when I
she
don't.
has enough of a connection to him that apparently that's
The
enough to
instant I
control
do, he
her.
runs and
I guess
hides.
also threatening her students too, yeah.
Like that ever since we were little. I remember Agnes getting so upset because he kept beating her at hide and seek. He and I ended up giving her a rare flower seed to make it up to her.
Well, of course he beat her. I didn't see. He can turn
Wallowing in
invisible.
the past. Is that?
Wow, really? Are you serious?
Oh yeah. I'm as serious as a heart attack.
There you are.
Did he try to pick up underage girls?
Oh, Lisette. Get this. I was just telling these young ladies.
How about you tell me about Hugo Simon? You know his background, don't you?
Yikes. Talk about a conversational ambush.
Surprised Lizette herself didn't already know that. She's talked about
Of course,
recognizing Hugo
knowing
from
such
something.
things is a big part of my job. Especially in light of the upcoming ceremony.
Huh?
So Gaspar's just
Nothing,
apparently the
just
best spy in
mumbling
both
to myself.
countries. He works for both of them.
Well, what do you know?
Why don't you ask him yourself? I just put in a job request for the two of you. That should provide the perfect opportunity.
What? You saw this coming, didn't you? Well played. You're nothing if not efficient.
Aren't I, though? He'll be at the training grounds, and he'll have all the details.
Got it.
Hey, Lisette. This is your chance, so make the most of it, okay?
Right. Thanks, Gaspard. Seems I owe him one now. He said Simon would be at the training grounds.
Oh, so this is before Hugo got taken away, it seems.
I finally
Weird
got
for
a
it to
hold of
jump
some
back in
library
time
books on
within the same
Empire,
episode.
And guess who it was that I checked them out before I could? Hugo Simon. Again! Probably doing extra reading to prep for his missions. He doesn't stop.
Hugo's such a nerd. Does he read books And that other dude's a bigger nerd for complaining about it. Oh, we can talk to Gaspar again. That's cool.
Hey, Gaspard! So, were you serious about what you said?
What did he say?
Oh, that we could go over to his place.
Excuse me?
What? Why?
Why? Because I'm so charming.
Because of his mansion! We want to see it for ourselves.
Oh, okay, good.
He told us about his parties and the
I mean, he's still trying to pick on
fabulous
her
guests he
isn't
has.
good, but
And he said
oh
we
my
should
god, he's
come
such
and
a
join in on
fucking
the
loser.
fun.
Is that so?
Hey, now. Hear me out, Lisette. I can explain.
Don't let this idiot fool you, girls. There's no
Yes.
house to go to. In truth, he sleeps outside with the beast.
I mean, good
like
on
the
her for
vagrant he is.
getting
No way.
them away from him.
Really?
Ugh.
How lame.
Wait, it's not that bad. Look at me, I'm no vagrant. Lisette, I think you should go torment Hugo instead, okay?
Apparently, whatever conversation she's about to have with Hugo
Hey,
will
instructor.
be really
See
big.
Hugo around? Wanted to grab lunch with him.
Simon will be joining me on a mission today.
Huh? You will? Weird. I didn't mention that.
So, what does it matter? Does he have to share every little thing with you?
Of course not. I'm just worried. Something's on his mind and he won't tell me what.
Of course, they're
I
dating.
can see why that
Hugo
would
and
worry
Leo are
you.
totally
He
a
is the
thing.
type to
Every
brood.
tales of
But you
dual
must have a few
protagonists
secrets
are
of
gay
your
for
own,
each other.
right?
Isn't that right?
Well,
People who write all the
yeah,
fan fiction that I really
I'm glad
don't like.
you two are close, but be careful. Invading his privacy is a sure way to strain your relationship.
I see. Anyway, good luck
I
on
don't
your
have
mission.
anything against characters being gay or anything, or people writing characters gay. But when you like take a character who's already been pre-established to not be and try to force them to be in your headcanon, then it's just like seems disrespectful to the source material.
Curses! You've bested me yet again.
That's just what makes the World Ends With You fan base so insufferable to interact with. Even though it's like my second favorite game franchise, I literally can't interact with anyone online about it because of shit like that.
To match your one. I'll never please father like this.
You hold yourself to a high standard, Maxine.
Of course I do. I'm a Husselmans. I have to stand tall to be a noble. Isn't it the same for you?
To be honest, I envy your sense of purpose. I feel rather listless myself.
That's not like you, Lucien Dufour. Whatever troubles you right now, you clearly have a dream you hold dear. I've seen you tending to the trees in the orchard, and your expression wasn't listless at all.
What was it?
You looked like you must have felt, I'd say... The look in your eyes was as tender as it was diligent.
Really? I hadn't thought much on it.
Besides, you're the head of Blaze, the pride of Edis Academy. If you don't stand tall, then who will the underclassmen look up to? I will not allow my peers to go astray just because you're in a mood. Why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. Your words have reached me well. Thank you. You make a fine rival, Maxime Hosselmans. I will do my best to stand tall as you do.
As long as you understand.
Well now, would you care for a cup of tea? It was made with slightly sour apples. I'd love to hear your opinion on it.
And I'd be glad to give it.
The next generation. They've begun to carve out their own path already.
Oh my god, those two have are such good characters in their own right. Lucine is this devious fucking emo little his home. He used to live in the Empire as August's student, but then when the Empire burned it down, he was August thought he died, but Lucine actually at some point apparently ended up in the Federation and vowed revenge against the Empire. And then Maxime just exists to just be the most sincere character of all time. He's just so charming every time he's on screen. He's just super nice to everyone and super generous and always do things for other
You're here
people.
about the mission, right?
Like he's more noble than
I am.
Leo.
Doing a little solo training, are you?
Yes. Thought it'd be a good way to kill the time.
I like how you think.
Looking at the chronologies, Lucian's story was supposed to be probably a little bit more significant, as it says he comes down with a sickness at some point, and Maxime becomes head, or Maxime doesn't even become head of boys. Maxime himself also leaves the school
Get the feeling this may be tougher
for
than the
whatever
mission.
reason.
I'm ready to start. You?
Yes, ma'am.
So a lot of like
You
shit
enrolled
was
in the
gonna
academy
happen
about a year
in
ago,
this story.
right?
A lot of
Hope your
different
swordsmanship
paths the
reflects
characters
the
were gonna
training
take.
you've received.
Probably
I'd
as
hate
each
to
of
be
them uncovered the
disappointed.
conspiracies in their own way.
It's over.
That said, I at least feel like I've improved.
That's encouraging to hear. Now let
And
me
that's a bit of a weird character. She's got melee and long range gun attacks. Cause like her melee is significantly stronger than her gun, but there's a little bit much like startup and end lag on her melee, which sometimes feels like it's better, even though it would take longer, just to safely kite them with gunshots.
I'm about to get serious. Take note. Simon, where did you learn to handle a sword? Before you came here, I mean.
Oh? Why do you ask?
I'm just curious is all. Nothing more to it.
Okay, well.
See, at least Hugo has even slower
It's not like I
attack.
was sent somewhere to train. My dad taught me himself.
Your father?
Find that odd?
No, not at all. Close.
I'm gonna try to let this die and see if there's any more dialogue.
Hey!
No, nothing more? Alright, cool.
Come on! It's like someone's got a death wish.
Bring it on!
So as it stands, from what we've seen, usually Lizette is like this the strongest person in the Federation.
But why? Why are you doing this to me?
Oh, this is something.
Shut up. Unless you'd like a hole in your head.
Figured she had something to do with
keep
destroying the village, but to know she actually fucking pointed a gun at Child Hugo, that's a lot.
Now, a special lesson for you. This is true fear. And this.
Wait.
She fucking shoot him?
This is your death.
She didn't kill him, obviously, but... Did she think she did?
Hey, you alright?
Yes, I'm fine. I apologize for that.
No. I got a bit carried away.
He didn't recognize this in any other training sessions throughout, like, however long he's been in the academy?
Well then, suppose the time has come to start our mission.
Yes, ma'am.
Now he's got some shit to think about.
Seems I was right.
Now she feels really bad. She's like, ah, shit. But honestly, if I was her, I'd probably be a little bit happy that someone else
We're
might
helping
be around
folks in
that
Colton
knows
Village
how
today.
fucked up the
They're going through
Federation
another
is.
rash of beast attacks.
Fulcad and Bouquet had a recent mission there, right? They said that the town had been cleared of dangerous beasts. I'm
Oh, we're
surprised
going to
hear
where
that it's having trouble
the
again
show
so
episode
soon.
2 took place. A lot of the episodes share environments. Obviously not, they can't be all different environments every time. The game is expensive enough to make as it is, that's why it shut down, but even with as much as they tried to like save resources and shit, it still ended up being too much to upkeep.
Prepare yourself.
So I have an entire Twitter thread about why I think this game got cancelled and why Crestoria got cancelled and why the other Tales of games that are in Japan and haven't been cancelled. And it basically just boils down to like how expensive they are to keep running. It's never anything about the quality of the game.
Was this whole thing set up just so I could talk to
The only like significant difference between this game and Crestoria is that in this game, every story mission at least scales to your character's level, so there's literally no reason for you to summon in this game, and therefore no reason for you to spend money on this game. So if you're here just to enjoy the story, you can do that no problem. Like I could be doing this at like level 3 and I'd still be dealing basically the same proportional amount of damage to the enemies. But because no one had to spend money on this game to like really do that much, then they didn't, and that made the game make less money obviously, and there's less reason for Bandai to want to keep it around. The only real mode that doesn't scale to your level is like the raids.
No, I'm fine.
And the raids, even if you're, unless you're like a hardcore player, most people didn't even participate in them because they're like the only, even though they're the only other like real content in the game other than the story, like having to do them like 100 times to get like the good rewards from them is a bit much. So even I only did a handful of raids myself. So unless it was like a raid where Edward was like the specific character who's getting like the accessories and stuff, then I usually didn't really care because it was just like too much of a time investment. But unfortunately that was the only other content in the game, so apart from doing the stories, I usually just spent my time doing the challenge missions to raise level caps just because it was something to do, even though technically I didn't need to unless I was doing raids, but I only ever did raids with Edward, so in reality I only had to do them with him, but I did them with every character regardless because you could get the PB stones to summon more of them.
That's the last of them. Let's keep going.
I didn't even change what was it, how to cook for food before this. She just has the default curry.
Like there've been a lot more beast missions lately.
Well, not only has the war been damaging beast habitats, the troops who used to guard the villages have gone to battle.
Guess this is the kind of task that the army can't be spared for.
Not bad.
Yeah, they still need. Yeah, these beasts are such a problem. They still have to send their literal strongest, like, 8 people to deal with it. Each individual person who basically is as strong as an entire platoon, and probably more, has to spend 90% of their time just fighting beasts. Well, because the children can't exactly send them to every battlefield,
Do you feel
but
that this mission is beneath you somehow?
No. I love helping people, but I wish we could do more to stop the war.
as Hugo's saying right now,
You hope to end it?
it would be a lot quicker. They're sufficiently strong enough. The only people they'd have a problem with are the Imperial Alphas and Amelie and Falk. Those are like the only strong people in the Empire. Each Alpha is definitely stronger. The only people in the Federation, at least, that we've seen that are strong enough to fight the Alphas
Not yet.
or like Lizette and like maybe Lucian. But unless Leo had that fucking origin power, he usually doesn't stand a chance.
I want to do my part to create a peaceful world. A world where Leo and Celia can live peacefully.
I see.
These three always want to do things for the other two and never anything for themselves, or so they say.
Yeah.
Celia's entire episode 2 is basically her resolving that she would do, basically that she would probably commit horrible atrocities if it meant protecting Leo and Hugo, which I interpret as meaning that like she was eventually, if the story went on, she was gonna do some fucked up shit, or at least be manipulated to do some fucked up shit in the name of protecting those two.
Kane, Simon, go wrap this up.
Just me? Give me a hand, instructor.
There.
I could learn from that.
Ready to see hell?
No, Hugo, you're fine. You're
I think that's all of them. Oh yeah, this is a heck of an intersection. Colton Village is past the
See, every
first gate to
character
the
in this
left,
game,
correct?
at least
Yes, I believe so.
of the Blaze students, they always underestimate how strong they are. See, the embryos that's been implanted in all of them give them all a bunch of power, but
anyway,
supposedly shorten their lifespan.
Oh, it wasn't important. Forget it.
Probably a lot more to it than that. And if anything, it's probably, at least my theory is that embryos were a stolen concept of the Miyasui crystal that Edward has, and that it was most likely the Federation and not the Empire that actually wiped out Miyasui for that technology or that power.
Just about anything to protect them. They're everything to me. They're family.
I see.
Or if the Empire and Federation are really just one person running a giant scheme, then one country just copied the crystals while the other one made the reactors to replicate what the power that they produce.
Ready to see hell?
Just like one person trying to test which form would end up being more useful in the future.
I realize that I shouldn't be openly saying that. I mean, being a soldier, I should care about the Vicar and the Primordials even more, right?
No, you're fine. There's nothing like personal loyalty to fuel your conviction. A word of warning, though. Prepare your... That type of sentiment may leave you disappointed in your country. That's what happened to me and Gaspard.
What's that?
Prepare yourself.
Yeah, don't ever like the people who are in charge of you.
This looks
Never meet your heroes. Okay, it's not like that, but basically, no. All any JRPG tells you is that anyone in any position of power will always be a corrupt asshole, and we need to be rebellious and step up to them and bring down the power.
I have a question for you. What's you and Gaspard's relationship anyway?
Our relationship?
Sorry, you obviously don't have to answer.
Don't mind. We're childhood friends, like you and Foucault.
I didn't realize. Hold on, so you're from the same village?
Yes, but look, we can't afford to flap our gums right now. We need to focus on combat.
Yes, you're right.
First into play!
Is it being slowed down? I can't counter. That always sucks. That was a big annoying thing when I was trying to do character challenges before.
Pace yourself. Don't get fatigued.
I think it was Michelle's.
You can't win. You can't win. That's it for these. Let's go. It's harder to start a frank conversation than I thought.
You seem a bit worn down, instructor. Is everything all right?
Don't worry about it.
Anyway, you were saying that you and Gaspard go way back.
Yes. As I mentioned, we grew up in the same place. We used to play around a lot. Me, him, and my little sister Agnes.
This is the first we ever heard of her sister. I mean, she mentioned Agnes earlier this episode, but I don't know who exactly that is.
Prepare. How could I?
She's probably dead, if I were to
We're
guess.
just getting stuck. Come on.
Interesting. You have a sister.
I did. Agnes was a very sweet soul. Gaspard used to say he didn't have a place to call his own in this world. So Agnes planted a flower bed and told him it was his.
Hold on. Is Agnes not...
She died a long time ago.
Oh.
No great surprise, right? Such stories are commonplace. Though to me and Gaspard, it was a turning point. But that's our baggage. You needn't concern yourself with it.
Instructor.
I've said too much. Forget it.
Look, over there.
This is bad.
Think this big beast is behind the attacks on Colton Village?
I don't know. You're wide open. Even if it hasn't attacked anyone, we'll dispatch it before it gets.
I mean, it's more than one big beast you can get there.
Close.
We'll talk about your counting skills later. Hopefully you fix those before you become an alpha.
You like
more?
Pace yourself. Don't get fatigued. Burst into flame.
This thing's tougher than I thought.
What's your point? Are you asking for permission to flee?
Say no cooldowns or like start up to eating food in this game. You could always just power through raids if you bought enough food.
For this, yes.
Like you didn't even have to be good
But
at
I
the game,
imagine
just if
there's
you got
much
hit
more work
once.
to do.
Oh, eat the food.
Let's see what's going on in the village. By
I
the
think
way,
no traditional
Simon,
Tales of item cooldown.
do you remember my face?
Huh? Sorry, I'm not quite sure what you mean.
I see.
But let me ask you the same. Do you remember me from somewhere?
Bruh, just come out and say it.
Hello, strangers. Do you have a minute?
Oh, she was about to.
Look, that villager's calling for us. Let's go see what he wants. Come on, instructor.
Yes, of course. Simon,
Yes, ma'am?
I'll give you an answer later, all right?
Sure. My curiosity is piqued.
Mm-hmm. Now let's go.
Alright, you basically confirmed it. I mean, he already remembers, but...
Wow. Thanks so much for dealing with that beast for us.
No need to thank us. That's why we're here. We've come from the Knight Academy. I'm Lisette Renier.
And I'm Hugo Simon, a student at the Academy.
Oh, is that right?
Was that beast the main source of your town's recent troubles?
I wish. But no, it wasn't just one beast. Recently, there have been several of them showing up. Go ask around the village, and you'll get the bigger picture. I'm sure plenty of folks would love to talk to you.
Very well. Come along, Simon.
Sure thing.
Let's see what these people have to say.
The village is in danger.
That's why we'll handle things.
Oh, here.
Thanks.
Oh, I didn't mean to skip that conversation. They're still giving out food recipes, that's crazy. Goes to show that they weren't planning for this to be the end.
So chaotic these days.
used to be such a peaceful village.
I see what you mean. If it weren't for
I
the
really
beast
had a lot
problems,
planned, and I really would have
this
loved to have
place would
seen
be
it go
very
through.
relaxing. Feels kind of like my hometown, actually.
Really? You're from Triand Village, right?
Yes, that's right.
You didn't live somewhere before that?
What do you mean?
It's nothing. Just curious, as there are few records of your childhood.
Kids from the countryside live pretty unremarkable lives.
Do they?
Yes. Anyway, we need to deal with this beast matter ASAP. We can't let any more harm come to this village. I don't care if
Hugo
my foes
really
are
wants
beasts or
to
humans.
fucking say
I
something.
won't let the tragedy I endured happen again. Ever.
Simon. If he's really the same boy from back then, letting him join Blaze was a big mistake.
Letting him join was a
What am I
big
even
mistake.
doing?
Then he shouldn't have
In the worst
gotten
case
top
scenario,
marks,
the
except
higher-ups
he
might
was
already...
he failed the
Let's see what else we can
exam.
find out.
In Celia episode 1, it was Celia and Michelle who passed the exam and beat Leo and Hugo. But it was special orders from the higher ups that said that Leo and Hugo had to join Blaze. Further, like, making the conspiracy.
I'm surprised that this is happening while the breath herbs
So
are
the
blooming.
newest year of Blaze, the first year is 4 students, while every other year is 2 students. It's only supposed to be 2 a year.
Good grief, that's always your answer.
Mark?
Oh, it's fucking Mark,
You
this
must be the
loser.
kid Leo told me about.
Huh?
Of course Leo helped him.
Who are you?
I remember that.
A friend of the Blaze cadets who dealt with the beasts last time.
And I'm their instructor.
You're with Blaze? Did they come here with you?
Sorry, it's just us this time.
Well, that's a letdown.
You say you're friends of theirs. Does that mean you've come to protect the village?
Indeed. Seems you're having a new beast problem.
Yes, that's right. The smell of the breath herb's flower normally repels beasts. Most of the time, that's enough to keep this village quite safe. Perhaps the beasts were forced to come here, despite the smell.
I suppose they might have been chased here. Let's talk to one more person before we go.
Excuse me, can we ask you...
Sure, no problem. You wanna hear how I fought off a beast with my trusty ladle?
With a ladle?
Well, I suppose I was saved before I could really use it.
How many Tales of characters have fought
Saved by whom?
with ladles before? I mean, they always try to reference that in later games ever since Lilith did it in Destiny Director's Cut.
I was so impressed by his skill that I instantly hired him as my bodyguard.
Where is he now?
He said he wanted to get down to the root of the issue, so he headed towards the forest.
Alright, so there's another person involved. It's a little
This
weird.
man is either very confident
I
in
mean-
his skills, or very foolish.
It's probably, if I were to guess, Gasbird for no reason, but just because Lizette's involved, and it doesn't make any sense for him to be here, but we'll figure out why.
I think we've got a good grasp of the situation now. Let's head to the forest.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Simon. Lasant Village. Have you heard of it?
I have. It was razed to the ground about 9 years ago by the Imperial Army. A terrible tragedy, they say. Lots of places get caught up in the ravages of war. But Lasant had absolutely no strategic value whatsoever. It was an outright massacre, killing for the sake of killing. It was one of the worst things to come out of this entire war.
You know quite a lot about it.
Do I? Anyone who wants to be a soldier should know that much.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
I think so.
Have you been to Lasant yourself?
No. No reason to go there.
Good. Sorry for asking all
Bro,
these
they're
strange
literally
questions.
just confirming all
No
of
problem.
each other's suspicions.
But I think we should
How
get
are they
going.
not? How is Hugo
Right.
not just trying to stab her?
Simon, your intelligence makes you overthink things. And hesitation only makes your lies more obvious.
Are these raw attributes we already heard
There's
about
no
Hugo
doubt
before?
now. You were that boy. Right. Now to the forest.
Yes, ma'am.
You can reach the forest.
Got it.
If you need backup, me and my chirp.
Thanks, but we're fine.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Let's try to at least clear this part 2 before my phone battery dies and I have to split the stream.
No sign of any beasts.
Perhaps the dashing bodyguard really did handle them.
On his own? Impressive. I wonder what his story is.
He's certainly not your average
See, if I
traveler.
remember correctly,
If he's friendly,
for
he'll make
Lizette
a
episode 2,
reliable
she didn't get any like real significant buffs from her base moveset. I think it was just like backwards dash increase and some damage increase on her rapid combo, and decreased damage duration on her
They came from deep in the
gunshots.
forest.
I wonder what they're after. Jarod said they might have been forced to come here.
Right. In which case they might not
See,
have
because
meant
that's
to attack
decently
the
like
villagers.
fun to
So
play
much as they
as,
were
but
forced to as they
overall,
fled from something?
at least when it comes to raids,
Doesn't make
I don't
them any
think
less
she's
dangerous.
very good there.
We don't
Because
have time to
her
wonder
attacks that
about
actually deal
motivations.
damage have too much startup, and then the gunshots, if you want to be safe with them, aren't going to deal a lot of damage.
What a pain. Simon, go wrap this up.
Just me? Give me a hand, instructor.
Oh, I didn't mean to get hit.
Bad. How do you like this? I'm about to get serious. Take note. You're wide open. First into play. We should hurry. I'm worried about this elusive hero.
Every episode has an ass shot like this.
Well,
Gotta
I can't help
love
but
it.
wonder. If he's supposed to protect the village, why didn't he stay
Usually there'd be a joke about one character telling other characters not to look at it, but this certain pair is far too serious to make jokes like that.
He could have dealt with the beasts as they trickled in easily. So why'd he choose to risk his neck here in the forest?
He told that woman he wanted to get to the root of things. So he's either foolish, as I've suggested, or he thinks this is the only way to secure the town's safety. There.
I see. Still, this is above and beyond what most bodyguards would do.
So what?
So, he must be a big softie.
You're probably right. But there's no way to tell if he's an ally at this point. So let's proceed with care.
Right.
Look there.
Oh no, it's Edward.
I'm in it for now.
That's cool.
Knew going
That's
it
awesome,
alone was risky.
actually.
Damn.
He's actually showing up in an episode that's not an adventure episode. Oh, I love this. So his original 5-star outfit was actually so it's called the Wandering Merc for a reason. He did wear it at one point when he was
Seriously
traveling
pulled
as a
the shortest
mercenary.
possible straw. Pay I'm getting is so not worth this kind of risk. That said, Colton Village is
I mean, this
tiny.
is a year or
There's no
two
way us
before the
townsfolk
adventure
can fend
story
off
actually
these beasts on
starts,
their
so
own.
really
They
interesting
paid
to
me
see
half
him
in
here.
advance,
I thought they wouldn't
so I
appear in the
better finish what I
Crossroads for the
started.
reason that the Crossroads had been happening
Instructor,
years
I think-
before the adventure
Yeah.
story begins.
Though we still don't know his identity. It seems clear that he's someone we should protect.
Can I switch that word,
Let's go,
please?
Simon.
he's
Yes, ma'am.
more fun to play as.
Who are you?
Let's make our introductions later. Now's not the time.
Yeah, good point. First, we need to cut down these monsters.
I mean, does that? I would assume she knows about Miyasui.
How are you holding up?
So she would probably recognize the crystal if he pulled it out, but this specific outfit of Edward doesn't have it visible.
Thought you two were crazy thrill seekers, but you've got real skill.
Same for you.
That power of yours was...
No big deal.
Even Hugo's
One of my
recognizing the
shadier
power.
friends gave this to me. It's just a cheap reactor.
Oh, he's disguising it as a reactor.
Interesting.
That's funny.
You like this?
Pretty smart.
Seems the area's clear of beasts.
Thanks for saving my skin. Name's Ed.
Well, we're with the Federation's...
Hold up, kid. I don't want to get dragged into anyone's business. So let's just say our names and leave it at that.
Fair enough. I'm Lisette.
And I'm Hugo.
Nice to meet you.
I think we've got more work to do to fix this situation.
Yeah, something big flew over me while I was on my way here. It was headed towards a deeper part of the forest.
Sounds worth investigating. Hey, Ed? Mind coming along with us?
I was gonna ask you to come with me. You guys were a major help just now.
It's settled then. We'll dispatch any beasts
Oh,
we
Ed
find
seems slightly
before
more
they can attack the
personable
village.
than he
Sounds good.
usually is.
Let's settle this quickly.
He was pretty cold before he met Liddy. At least in episode 1 of
I got a
Ed.
question for you, Ed.
Shoot.
We were told you were hired as the village bodyguard.
That's right.
Close.
So why did you leave and come all the way out here?
To eliminate the source of the problem. Is that strange?
I mean, it makes sense, but...
Just tell him you think he's just a big softie.
Truth is, no village means no pay. All there is to it.
Ed always says, always mentions payment, when in reality he just wants to protect people. Because he couldn't be the he was too young to like protect his homeland, so he wants to be a hero for as many other people as possible, deep down, even if he denies it.
Does this happen a lot?
That's all of what Ed episode 2 was about. I really liked it.
Find yourself getting into trouble
They're
like
really
this?
setting up Ed to be like
Because of your
a
soft-hearted
major
nature?
protagonist in his own right.
You don't mince words, do you?
Not even when she should.
I heard that, Simon.
They're here.
Dance, Empleo. Let's make them regret crossing our path.
I'll keep them at bay so you can shoot freely.
I'm counting on you. You're finished!
Damn it! Over here! Not yet!
Die!
Instructor, are you okay?
Worry about yourself before worrying about me.
That poison art is so good. That's from Liddy's new 5-star weapons that would have come with her episode 2 for guns.
I'm guessing you've been partners for years now, right?
Why do you say that?
For starters, you work perfectly together in battle.
Oh, you think so?
Do you not?
Well, I do think I've gotten better at working with her. At least compared to how I was when the mission first started.
You've still got a lot of room for improvement.
Yes, I know.
Oh, even just today. It's like, this is really our first time fighting just the 2 of us.
Ready to see hell? By this time, it's over!
these two are just that strong on their own.
Yeah, considering the gap in your ages, I guess I should have realized. You idiot!
Oh, don't mention her age.
Sorry, knee-jerk reaction. But if you keep that up, it may not be the beasts that kill you.
I'd worry about yourself, Simon.
Terrifying.
That's usually what he would tell Leo.
Not bad.
Which in Hugo's mind is drawn a connection between
This
Edward
looks
and Leo,
useful.
or how they're similar. Which makes sense since they're both the protagonists of their respective sides.
Get behind me. I'll hold them off.
You can't win.
So all three factions have their protagonists, Leo, Hugo, and then Ed. But at least through as the game has been going on, like episode 1s and 2s, the everything that wasn't the adventure side hasn't felt as significant up until this point specifically. This episode alone has already been had a lot more plot in it than most individual episodes. I was saying we're like not even halfway done with it. Like compare this to fucking Celia episode 2 or Michelle episode 2. Like those barely have like any plot in them.
Styles as refined as that one aren't usually self-taught.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. Just that I'm impressed. And glad you're on our side.
This may be out of line, but you're a horrible communicator.
Hey, never mind, you're probably right.
Fucking hell, bro. Love this. Anything you can say about Tales of the Games, character interactions are grade A all the time, regardless of the quality of the game. Always the highlight of every game. Even in something as bad as Legendia, the characters interacting is always fun.
Fine, let's do this.
These beasts, they seem desperate.
Simon, you're not
You can never complain about the characters themselves, at least not too much.
Prepare yourself, dance, Embleo.
More of them. They're trying to overwhelm us with numbers.
So let's show them just how bad a mistake they've made.
What? Over here. What?
Try this out. You can't win.
I should say that one.
You're finished.
Should be invincible in that. Oh, like that. That's nice.
They're all just so weak.
I'd hate to be your foe, instructor.
Still no sign of the big one yet.
No. Listen, I was thinking, from the beast's point of view, we're the aggressors, right?
God damn it, Hugo, talking about points of view. We get it, that's what the story is about, how different points of views can recontextualize situations.
But as I've said, that doesn't make them
That's
less
all
dangerous.
very
Everyone
good
that fights is
literary
protecting
technique that I
someone.
really like.
But
Because it actually like
You wanna
relates a lot
protect
to
both
how
God and
things in
our
real
game,
life
don't
are.
you?
of course, I just don't know if...
There's no one to answer the question you're trying to ask. You need to find your own answer, and your own sense of justice.
my own sense of justice.
Ready to see hell?
Wait, this feels like...
Yeah.
Above us.
Oh. Here comes the boss. Oh yeah, this is the last part of this chapter.
One that's often cited within the Empire?
There's this fight in the cutscene
Maybe this is
afterward.
the reason those beasts fled from the forest. That monstrous predator might have pushed them out of their habitat.
I see. Scared as they were, not even the breath herbs could deter them. Conquerors bring nothing but pain and fear. Apparently that's true for humans and beasts.
Simon,
Here it comes.
this one looks pretty damn tough. Are you good to fight, Simon?
Yes, I've got this. I get that it needs to be done at least.
Perhaps I've taught you something after all.
No doubt about that. Let's go, instructor. It's tough.
Fuck, I missed the
Going
guy.
down without a fight.
My
You
hand,
go,
my
Simon.
finger can stretch up far enough. The
Trust
way I
me,
was
might
holding
learn the
it.
truth someday. For now, for this moment, just let me be your instructor.
You're not hurt, are you, instructor?
You're finished! Hurt? Don't be ridiculous. This oversized bird is no match for us.
Right. Yeah, let's hit it with everything we've got. I'll get it.
There we go. It's the notification.
just getting
Telling me that we'll probably have to pause the stream after this chapter. I
Bring
mean,
it on.
not probably, we will. Yeah, I'll probably take like, phone usually takes like an hour to charge,
Yeah,
so
let's finish
I'll be
this.
back in
Bring it on.
like an hour after this.
How could I? This is it, you two.
Oh shit, I need
Got
help.
it.
Fuck, I wasn't looking.
Roger that.
Here.
Just saying. It's really hard to deal significant damage with those when you're not using arts. That's what I think. She probably needed an overall even more damage increases than she got. But then again, she does build up art gauge pretty
You pulled
fast
off
because of
some
how
good
many times
moves in
she
that
hits her
fight. Gold
enemies.
stars for both of you.
I don't know, that's usually how it is for most characters.
Yeah, thanks.
When there's just one
Wait a sec.
enemy, it's hard to build up the arts
Not my
gauge.
teacher. Guess I owe you some thanks anyway, though. You two really saved my ass.
I'm glad we
And
found
there's several characters that feel very
So,
weak when they
What are
can't
you
use their
planning to do
arts or
from
miss
here
their
on out,
rounds.
Ed? You're welcome to come check out our school.
It's the characters that can do stuff without those
Sorry,
that
once I
stand
picked up
out
my
to me.
earnings, I got places to be.
That you could like not cast a single art with, but still be just as effective with.
That guy I mentioned wants me to go there. But he didn't give me train tickets or the money to get my own. So here I am, working to earn myself the gold I'll need.
Your friend sounds like a real deadbeat.
That's 'cause he is one. He does sketchy stuff like this all the time. Anyway, nice meeting you two.
Oh, Ed's on his way to
Glad to know
Hazar,
that there are weirdos
and
like
that
you in the
means he's
world.
on his way to meet Liddy.
Right back at you.
And if someone
Pretty sure you'll find
is
more like us on your way.
making him go to Hazar, it's the same person
Anyway,
who wants
back
him
to
to
the
meet
village.
Liddy, which means it's
wouldn't
Gaspard,
want
because
them to worry.
Gaspard's the one who sent the letter to Liddy telling her where she'd find Ed.
Because I took too long, you know?
Sure.
So Gaspard has direct connections with Ed as well.
All right.
Another
I think we'd better be heading
plot
back to
point
school.
tied up.
Ma'am. But you know, this forest reminds me of back then.
Simon? Simon! Hey, Simon! Simon, are you alright? Now, I have a special lesson
Or we
for you.
can hear what she whispered to him
This is true fear.
this time.
This is your death.
I don't know.
Special lesson for you. True fear. Death.
Did that just not actually
What did
happen?
you just say? I know those words. Simon, what are you?
Don't touch me! I'm sorry. Let's get going.
Nah, bro, he's about to put two and two together. Yo, they put quotes around that. I heard those quotes.
Let's. Simon. Sure enough, as I thought. At long last, the hour of my atonement may finally be bearing down upon me.
Ready to bear the weight of her sins. She knows her past has been fucked up for a while. But she's always been just wanting to teach the new generation and try to keep them away from the stuff that she has to do, keep the dirty work away from them. But most of the time she's unsuccessful because the higher ups in the Federation are just assholes, as we know. A few days later, 999 at Loon.
Okay, here we are in Lund. Mission simple
Oh, so
enough.
this could be
Free a village from the tyranny of the Empire.
the second battle of Lund as opposed to the third battle of Lund.
Nobility at full throttle.
Yeah, we get it. The town we're liberating is called Kashur Village. But before we head there, we need to link up with Instructor Lisette.
This still before that
having a subjugated
chapter 1
Imperial
part?
village now?
This shit
You
happened?
okay?
Hugo really doesn't want to be doing this. Alright, yeah. So we're gonna take a break because unfortunately I have to charge my phone. I would have played this in BlueStacks but there's stuff I want to show that I only have on this account. That my BlueStacks account isn't as advanced. It's a lot easier for me to show off all the stuff I want to show off later with my main account. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna just go ahead and end the stream for now. Maybe we'll be back in an hour, maybe hour and a half, so we can continue the rest of this episode and then move on to the fun part of the tier list. And then I'll upload these VODs on YouTube in a day or two. In my YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure I have a link for it in my about section. And these VODs can just be, well, honestly, probably be like one of the very few ways this game is going to be immortalized. There's very little content. If you look up content for this game, the most you'll find is like footage of the game like before it came out, where people were like, oh, first gameplay impressions and stuff like that, like when Takanashi Kiara played it and shit like that. Like no one, you'll be very hard. Maybe someone out there also has like a straight up let's play or upload of every episode, but I don't know about it. And the lack of a wiki is really what tells me that this game really doesn't have a lot of stuff like written about it. So like at sometime in the future, most likely using the either like very soon, or if I have to use like this future VOD as a reference, like I will try to write something about how good this game was, like trying to make sure this game wasn't forgotten, and then post that on my blog. I wrote about something like before the game came out about why I was looking forward to it, so I can write sort of like a parallel thing to that about how sad I am that it's over. That could be interesting. Honestly, there isn't much I can say about the game that I haven't already said on Twitter or even during the stream with my own words. We'll just have to see when the time gets there. It'll probably be one of my shorter entries, just like saying goodbye to this game, formally written. Well, with that, we will take that break now. See you later, everyone.